Hello everybody and welcome back to another Plants vs. Zombies episode. No clue which one this is, but I haven't done a video in a while and I've been wanting to do one forever, but I've been gathering more stories and things to talk about in them, and so yeah, because I haven't been able to do them because I haven't had anything to talk about. And I didn't want to just like talk about random things through the whole thing. I didn't want it to be boring. I wanted to make sure that these are good episodes. So, I actually have planned to talk about unfairness. Now, some people, maybe one of you, might know exactly what I'm referring to here. I'm referring to my dang science class. Let me explain here. So, in my science class, it's just unfair. So, let's see. The earliest example is, I believe, let me think for a sec. Was it today? No, it was a while ago. One example. And at our tables, it was actually, the Friday of Halloween, I think. Yeah, I think it was the Friday of Halloween. And the teacher wanted to do something special, so she brought out some fun little puzzles or something like that. They were picture puzzles, logic puzzles. And she gave one to each table group and said, "Go." And we all had to figure out the sequence of shapes and figures based on the information that was given. So it was something like I don't know. Let's say there were 3 different rows. And in the first row was like a square, a circle, and a triangle. In the second row there was like a squiggly line, a square, and a circle. In the third row there was like an octagon, a triangle, and a hexagon. In the first row right next to it, it said that a certain amount of those figures were in the correct spot and were the correct figures to the secret to the answer, I guess, to the sequence, okay? And then it said if there were any that were correct but were in the wrong spot. And it didn't say which ones were correct, it just said the amount of how many of those figures in that row were correct but in the wrong spot. And then for above it was correct. And so it said that for each of the 3 rows, I'm going to die here. Nope. Yep. I had no chance in that. That was probably stupid of me to jump off of the building too. Stupid. Anyways, so what we had to do was just figure it out. And so me and my group huddled together and we were like, okay, people, we've got to figure out this. And so we figured it out. It was something like no. You know what? It wasn't squares and circles and triangles. It was like Halloween figures, so like witches and ghosts and cauldrons and whatever, and graves. So we figured out it was, I think I remember the exact order. It was candy, gravestone, and broom. Or it could have been gravestone, candy, and broom. And so we figured both of those answers. And we saw the teacher walking by, so I was like, hey teacher, and I nudged her. Well, I did nudge her, but I just said, hey teacher. Pretty loudly too. This wasn't like a little "Hey teacher." No, it was like, "Hey teacher, is this correct?" And so, but she didn't acknowledge us, and she just walked by and went back to her table. So we were like, okay, she probably just wanted to drop the papers that she'd been holding. I mean, she didn't want to like come over here and check with all the papers in her hands. I mean, it would just been too much for her. Oh, that sounds really bad. Like, it makes her sound kind of stupid. Anyways, no, that is not what I mean at all. But, so we were like, okay, so she went to her table, dropped the papers off, and turned around, and from the time of her going to her desk to her turning around, another group had raised their hand. Okay, so she goes to the other group and checks their paper. She literally walks past directly right next to my group, who was all raising our hands by the way, and goes straight to that other group and declares that they are the first place people. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I even nudged her. I was like, hey teacher, this is correct, and we were raising our hands, and no other group was doing anything. and she just walked by us. She didn't even check us. So, anyway, she came to us and we got second place. And we're like, okay, that kind of sucks, but whatever. So the next one, she gives us another one. It's actually a 4x4, so 4 columns and 4 rows of pictures. Once again, we finish first, raise our hand, but we see that the teacher is talking to another group. So we're like, okay, guys, we might get second. But 5 minutes later, we were counting, by the way, or timing it. Oh, that went through that guy's skull. Did you see that? Or it could have been a lady, whatever. That, oh my goodness, man, everything is unfair these days. Anyways, well, life isn't fair, but anyways, oh my goodness, I've been digressing. Anyways, oh, I said anyways a lot. So the teacher spent 5 minutes talking to that group, helping that group figure it out, takes their paper, declares it number 1, and we are immediately, what are you doing? We've been raising our hands for 5 minutes, and you've been helping them for 5 minutes, and you call them the first place winners for helping them? It's so stupid. And so then, anyways, after she declares this first place, she stands up, looks around, and was like, okay, who is next? And some other groups put their hands up and were like, we were next, and they hadn't even been holding their hands up at all. And so she walks over there, directly past my table group again, who had been raising their hands, and goes to that other table group and declares them second place and third place, until I went up there and showed them something wrong with that. So my group ended up taking third place, but still, it was so insanely stupid. Oh my gosh, it was so unfair. And I never really did like that science class. I mean, there are things all throughout 6th grade I've been learning how to oh gosh, how to make hypotheses. I've been learning how to make a hypothesis and how to conduct a make questions. Well, no, it's the question part. I've been learning how to make questions and hypotheses and learning all that science lab and lab reports and whatever. And so near the beginning of the year in my class, now, I mean, I guess they were different teachers. They do teach differently, but we were learning, well, for me, again, how to write questions. And I was like, okay, I got this in the bag. And the teacher asks the class, she's like, okay, how do you think we should write a question? And I was like, okay. She gave us a specific set of data, well, not data, but different variables, the manipulating and responding variables. And she was like, okay, how should we make this into a question? And now in 6th grade, I had that entire year, literally that entire, well, half of it, because it was also split between social studies that same year, that same teacher, because we didn't have enough teachers for that grade. But I had been learning how to make a question, okay? So I raised my hand and I'm like, okay, we do this. It was like, what is the effect of what effect does the speed of the car have on how far it travels, or something like that? And well, one sec. Sorry, I had to cough there. Well, she had asked other groups different answers, and she said no. She came to me and she was like, and she asked me, and I said exactly what my 6th grade teacher taught me. But she said, no, that's not it. And immediately I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I've learned this throughout the entire 6th grade, and I am wrong? And by the way, my 6th grade teacher, oh dang it, I have another cough, one sec. Sorry, I hope I don't cough too much. I have been getting a little bit of a throat sore, but anyways, my teacher was also, she worked in nursing, and then and then another, I don't know how to call it, oh gosh, how am I gonna say this? It was she was another scientist. I don't remember what exactly she was, but she was a nurse and another type of scientist. And so she had done this professionally for many years. And so when I was told that what that teacher had done was wrong, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? For one thing, that is either a whole huge waste of 6th grade right there, or you've got it wrong, Miss Teacher, which I'm pretty sure she had it wrong, or, well, not wrong, but different, because she was probably reading out of like a manual or whatever. But I was really mad. But the real answer was, if we were still talking about like the rate of motion of a car and then how far the car goes or something like that, and she said if the car goes faster, wait, no, if the rate of motion of the car is increased, then what will happen to then will the car go farther? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, because these 2 questions are practically the same. It is, oh gosh, what was my initial question? What is the effect on the rate of motion of the car, or what effect does the rate of motion of the car have on the distance that it travels? Because that would tell us both things. It would tell us if the rate of motion of the car is decreased, then what effect does it have on the how far it goes, and it would tell us if the rate of motion of the car is increased, then the effect on how far the car goes. So I was pretty mad. She just said be more specific, but you still get the same. You actually get the same data, but more. Well, yeah, you get more data than that second question. But anyways, I don't know. I was really mad, and I was really mad that guy didn't die like 6 shots ago, but whatever. Once again, life is unfair, but I was really mad, so yeah, I changed it for my lab report that we typed up, but oh, I'm gonna get screwed here. I changed it for my lab report, but I'm still gonna remember what my 6th grade teacher taught. That was just like a one-time dealio for me. Until it gets proven wrong again, if that happens, then I will do it. Then I will change for good. Or I will make equal space for that new one in my mind as the old one. Because, really, the old one is practically the exact same thing as the new one, except more broad. And I guess you do want to make it somewhat specific to know what you're testing, but that's where the hypothesis come in. Because, wait, whatever, I didn't have English today. Anyways, because for the first question, what effect does the rate of motion of a car have on the distance that the car travels, that will have practically the same hypothesis as the second question, which is if the rate of motion of the car is increased, then how does that affect the distance of the car, or something like that. I don't even remember. I have not made space for that second one in my head at all, because I believe in the first one. But that might be proven wrong, and I will be fine if it does, but still I'm going to keep the first one. But the hypotheses can be the same, because for the first question it can be more versatile. You can decide, look, if you want to look for it, well, oh gosh. How should I say this? So it can pretty much state what you are looking for, or what you want in your responding variable. Like, for the first one, you can say your hypothesis is if the rate of motion of the car is increased, then the car will go farther, or something like that. Which is the same thing as the other question, except that you could also have the hypothesis of if the rate of motion of the car is decreased, then this will happen, or the car might go not as far. Now, of course, it does depend on multiple variables, but for the most part, if a car goes slower, then it won't go as far. Pretty much, basically, to put it simply, that's what will happen. So, I mean, I don't know. I was just really mad because it's practically the same exact thing, but I don't know. Only my group members will like understand my initial reaction to that, like mostly to the first thing that I talked about, which was the group. Like my whole entire group, if they were to watch this, they would know exactly what I was talking about. They would be able to feel exactly how I did, because it was so insanely unfair. Because then the teacher she acted like nothing ever happened. She didn't even like say sorry to us or acknowledge it, which is, I guess, what she wanted to do, because if she did acknowledge that we were first, then that would have probably been worse for her. But still, oh my gosh. I don't know anymore. I'm prepared for later in life, because life is just unfair. Like, did Dave really have to have one of his tacos taken? Like, that's unfair, because he made his tacos and then something else just took it. Whatever. Till next episode, guys. See you later.